What's going on, guys? Love Smash, back with an all new video for you guys today. And in today's video, I wanted to give you guys my top 10 picks for Marvel newcomers for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, it's been a while since I put out a top 10. I'm so hyped for this game. As I told you guys, Marvel vs. Capcom series is my top 2 all-time favorite fighting game franchise. Right after Smash Bros, right before Mortal Kombat. So hyped this game is coming out next year. Really just wanted to do this video. And like I said, this is just going to be one top 10 of 2 different top 10s. This one is going to focus on the Marvel characters. I'm going to put out one for Capcom as well. Now, there will be a few more top 5s and maybe top 10s as well for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but I'll get to those in a second. Now, for this video, I wanted to focus only on the Marvel Cinematic Universe characters. Now, if you guys have been listening to the rumors, following my videos, following anyone's videos talking about this game, there's been this ongoing rumor that X-Men characters, Fantastic Four characters, any kind of like Fox Wright movie characters are not going to be playable in this game. But I want to set the record straight as of right now and talk about this yet again. I've discussed this many times in the previous videos. I've talked about it, where X-Men, Fantastic Four characters are not off the table. If you guys have seen the reports, the first one coming from Marvel's entertainment creative director Bill Roseman, who stated with an interview with Game Informer, X-Men are not off the table outright. That heritage is not lost. Not only that, the leaker by the name of Rice, who, if I'm not mistaken, is the one who actually leaked NBC Infinite in the first place, stated, "Yesterday I was told with complete certainty X-Men and Fantastic Four characters will be coming as DLC. It's a done deal." Now, of course, none of this has been confirmed just yet. These characters can show up, they may not show up. I just can't imagine a Marvel vs. Capcom game without X-Men characters in it. That would just be downright insanity. You can't have a Marvel vs. Capcom game without Wolverine in here. Deadpool being how big it is, Storm, Doctor Doom, like any of these like Fantastic Four X-Men characters. So, but for this video, I just wanted to focus more on the Marvel cinematic characters and those universe characters, but I am going to be doing like a separate top 10 of the top 5 X-Men newcomers I want to see in the game as well, along with my top 10 of Capcom newcomers. But for right now, let's focus on these Marvel cinematic characters. Now, one last thing I will say before we go in, I want to do a speculation video on the boss of the game as well. A lot of people are speculating this could be a combination of Ultron and Sigma from the Mega Man universe. That would be very interesting to say the least. I didn't include Ultron on my list for that reason, because it really does resemble him a lot, and I don't know if he would be playable and the final boss in this game as well, especially he's going to be fusing with Sigma. It could be like something they're trying to do, but just want to throw that off the bat because I am planning to do a video, but I left him off my top 10 for that reason, if anyone was wondering if you were going to see Ultron on this list. But for the time being, let's get into this video, talk about my top 10 picks, starting with my first one with Star-Lord. Guardians of the Galaxy. Came out a few years ago in theaters, big franchise, got a new movie coming out this upcoming year in 2017. I cannot imagine Star-Lord not being in this game. Extremely unique character he can make with all his gadgets that he uses that you've seen if you read the comics, if you've seen the movie. Just, I love his like persona, how like he is portrayed, like he's smart aleck, he's this and he's that, but he's overall badass character. Just love the look of him, and I'd be very surprised if Star-Lord was not in this game. I think there's so much you could do for a potential moveset and supers that it would be just an overall travesty if he was not included in this game. So that's my first pick. Moving on to my second pick is another overall badass Marvel character that we've seen in Civil War with Black Panther. There's an upcoming Black Panther movie coming out. Just all they could do with him and how much people seem to love Black Panther, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't in this game as well. They really do say it's going to focus more on the cinematic universe. That is what they said in interviews, so that it can mean a lot of Avengers and characters of that nature. So that would be Black Panther for my second pick. Now moving on to my third pick is Black Widow. Now with a lot of these picks, you're going to see a lot of like mainstream Marvel characters, because if they appear in the movies, they're mainstream over than characters who you just mostly read about in the comic book. They reach a broader audience, and I know that like the general like joke with Black Widow is, oh, all she do is kick. Well, it is true, she is a very skilled martial artist, she is an assassin, but I think with all the weapons and gadgets she has, it can make her a very unique female addition to this roster, which I think MVC3 was really lacking, and I love how with Captain Marvel they're kind of changing that. She looks like a really badass, awesome character, and I really think they could do a lot with Black Widow, like with her gauntlet, she has like a grappling hook, she has like explosives, she has like tasers, she has like those stick things she used in I think it was Winter Soldier, if I'm not mistaken. But I think there's a lot they could do with a moveset to make her unique. And I know this isn't like the best argument, but if you got Captain America and Iron Man in there, you know Hulk's going to be in this game, Thor's probably going to be there as well, and Hawkeye will most likely return. I just feel if you have like those 5, you can't have 5 out of the 6 OG Avengers from the movies. I feel like you got to have all 6 to round it out nicely. So that's why I had to make Black Widow on number 3 on my list and include her on here as well. Now moving on to pick number 4 is Scarlet Witch. Now, a character who I personally love. I think she's just really badass. I loved how she was portrayed in the movie. Never really read the comic book so much with her. I never really knew who she was, but I fell in love with the character just with her like manipulation of energy and magic. I think that's something they could really bring to make her a really unique addition. Like I said, I love the addition of Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, whatever you want to refer to her as. I think Black Widow would be a great female addition as well, and I think Scarlet Witch could as well. Just to like really give like the female dynamic and really raise that in really well, strong, rounded females on the roster. Now moving on to pick number 5 is The Vision. Yes, like I said, there's a lot of mainstream characters on this list, appearing in the most recent, like, of course, of Age of Ultron, and then appearing in Civil War, and it's just more of like that promotion of these characters, and people fall in love with them and love them, and I think there's so much you could do with Vision for a moveset. I mean, Vision's a character who's supposedly on like the same level or even greater power than Thor, so he's a really powerful character, especially what he can do in terms of like blast power, energy manipulation, just strength, endurance, all that stuff. I feel like he could be a really unique addition to this roster, so I felt I had to include him on the list at number 5. Now on to pick number 6 is a character I'm not a fan of, not because of the character itself, but just because of the Ben Affleck movie that came out in the early 2000s, and that is Daredevil. But Marvel's raking in the cash, and people seem to love the Netflix series. And Daredevil has just been like a highly requested character for this game for such a long time. And he is a badass character, I'm not denying that. It's just Ben Affleck, that movie, like, just not a fan of Affleck unless he's in a Kevin Smith movie, so that kind of puts that bad taste in my mouth for him. But just on sheer requestability alone and what they could do with him and how people want to see him and how people love him, had to include him on this list. Now, I don't know if he would fall under that category, because correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not mistaken, but didn't 20th Century Fox like produce the movie in the early 2000s, but Marvel is producing the Netflix series? So I don't know if he falls under that category. Just correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. If so, I would have to alter this list. But Daredevil, requestability, people love him, had to include him on the list. Now on to pick number 7 with The Punisher. 2 movies came out back in the day, one really good, one not so good. But Punisher being just like a really overall badass character, and all the weapons he uses, the guns and all that stuff, can make him a really cool addition if they do him right to this roster. And I definitely think Punisher has a big following. He's one of those characters I've seen really requested as well. Not as much as Daredevil, but he's been on a lot of like articles I've read in terms of requestability. Personally, Punisher gets the okay in my book. Now on to pick number 8 with a character who I've seen just about everyone, or at least like 90-95% of people request, and that is Loki. Loki is such a powerful character, and a character I feel that can play very well into the cinematic story for this game, which we know we are having. Like I said, it goes back to the boss, which a lot of people are speculating is like a combination between like Ultron and Sigma. This can be a character who can play not only very unique in the story mode, but on the roster as well, with all his powers and how strong he is and all the things he could do. Loki is just a character that people seem to love, and they say this game needs more villains, so it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up making it in this roster as well. Now on to pick number 9 with a character who I know a lot of people are going to hate on, a lot of people are going to say, why the hell is he on this list, I hate this video, dislike, blah 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 blah. And it all goes back to the crappy movie in the 80s, which some people sort of love, and then there's a crap ton of people who just overall hate it, and that is Howard the Duck. Now, he's more than meets the eye. You have to look at this character and say, okay, he's an alien duck that really can't do much. But if you look at what he can do in terms of a moveset and what they could have him do, he could be like one of those kind of like joke, tiny characters, kind of like how Arthur is this really small character, but he could do so much and he's really, really cool to use. I feel like they could do that with Howard the Duck as well. Now, for that new Marvel Contest of Champions, I think it's that came out in the App Store, he's in like this mechanical like duck like suit, like similar to like how Tron is in the NBC series. So they could either put him in that, they could put him as a standalone character. He'd probably be a really, if not the smallest character on that same level as like Rocket Raccoon. But I think there's a lot they could do with a moveset. He's the master of, is it Duck Fu or Quack Fu? I always forget. I think they could do like, he uses weapons, he uses like, he has that sword, I remember. Like, I think there's a lot they could do to make him unique. I mean, if they can make a moveset for Phoenix Wright, they can easily make a moveset for Howard the Duck. So, you've seen him beat down characters in the comics, but I think he'd be a really interesting addition and that unique, quirky character to this roster. Now, onto my 10th and final pick. This is where it gets a little interesting, because I couldn't decide between personal preference and popularity. So, I had to put both Groot and or Man-Thing for my 10th pick. Now, Groot, obviously, based on popularity, Guardians of the Galaxy being like this next big franchise movie for Marvel, and people just loving the character of Groot and plant manipulation, everything he could do, I think could make him really unique and something we haven't seen in the previous games to this roster. And Groot, like I said, everyone just seems to love Groot. Him and Rocket, like if not Rocket was the most popular, it was always Groot, people saying how much they loved. And then there's Man-Thing, on the other hand. It was a personal preference of mine, not really like a mainstream character. There was a movie that came out like a couple years back that didn't do so hot. But just in terms of a moveset with like similar to Groot with plant manipulation and berserker strength and just everything he could bring to the table in terms of a moveset makes me want to see him as well. And I just always love his overall design also to go along with that. And his special powers of plant manipulation and healing factor and heat manipulation and poison and all that stuff they can mold into a really unique character. So anyway, guys, those are my top 10 picks. Like I said, there's a tie for the 10th slot. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with this list? Do you disagree? I know a couple people are going to hate on the Howard the Duck pick, but like I use the same mentality when like I made the Smash Bros videos. If they can make a moveset for like Captain Falcon and Fox and Wii Fit Trainer and Villager and like just with MVC, if they can make a moveset for Phoenix Wright or like serve bots and stuff like that, they can easily make a moveset for almost any character. Like the team is very creative. They have a lot of great and creative and great like visionary people working on this game, so you have to keep that in mind when thinking of character selection. So those are my 10. Let me know if there's a character I didn't include on this list. Like I said, if Ultron doesn't turn out to be the final boss for this game, and if he is and he's combined with Sigma in some way or whatever the case may be, I would have probably put him on the list. Like if that whole thing with Daredevil is like that kind of like that like the Fox ownage and movie right thing and all that. But those are my 10 picks for now. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is there any character I missed or that you would personally like to see in this game on the Marvel side? Be sure to tell me in the comments. And I did say I am going to do an X-Men top 5 newcomer video. That's why no X-Men were included. I said that early on in the video. If you did not see the part, go back and watch. I'm also definitely going to do a top 10 Capcom newcomer video. I'm just like finalizing my picks. There's like 2 more characters I have to decide on for that 2 final spots on there. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's been a while, but expect a lot more in the MVC series because, like I said, I love this series to death. Like, this is like a franchise. Like, I went out and bought the original game twice for 2 different systems. I went out and bought the second game for 3 different systems. It's just the best, like, if not one of the best franchises out there, next to the Smash Bros. And Mortal Kombat series for me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. And like always, for all the latest fighting game news and speculation, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon with a brand new video.